Hey there, before we start, make sure to subscribe because I'm pretty sure you won't want to miss the stories coming next. August 17th, 1943, Detroit, Michigan. The summer air hums with the sound of machinery, the rhythmic pounding of presses, the hiss of steam, and the endless clatter of conveyor belts echo through the vast halls of Ford's Willow Run plant. Sunlight filters through the steel rafters, glinting off the curved fuselages of B-24. Liberators rolling off the line, one every hour. Standing near the observation deck are 5 men in dark civilian suits. They say little, but their eyes are sharp, calculating. Their names, though officially unspoken, are whispered among the Americans, hosting them engineers from Nazi Germany, invited under diplomatic cover years before the war had turned bitter. Among them is Dr. Ernst Keller, a quiet man with wire-rimmed glasses in the hands of a machinist. To him, this visit is not just professional curiosity, it's revelation. He watches as an entire bomber wing takes shape before his eyes. Riveters move in precise rhythm. Cranes swing vast metal sheets into position. Women in coveralls, the so-called Rosie the Riveters, tighten bolts faster than Keller can count. A voice on the loudspeaker cuts through the din. B-24 number 78 rolling off line 2 shift change in 5 minutes. In Germany, building a bomber meant craftsmen, blueprints, and long weeks of assembly. Here, it's a system, a living machine that never sleeps. Keller leans toward one of the American foremen, a heavy-set man with grease on his hands. "You mean, every hour?" Keller asks, his accent clipped. The foreman grins. "Every hour, Doc. That's how we win this thing." Keller nods, but says nothing. He hides the unease curling in his chest. That night, in his hotel room overlooking the Detroit River, he writes in his notebook, "They build machines as if they were bullets. Endless, relentless. Not craftsmen, but an army of workers." Outside, the sky glows orange from the furnaces of American industry. For the first time, Dr. Keller wonders if Germany's superior engineering might not be enough. October 1943, Dearborn, Michigan. Keller and his team are granted a rare tour of the River Rouge complex, Henry Ford's industrial empire, the largest integrated factory on Earth. Molten iron flows from blast furnaces into molds that will become engine blocks. Conveyor belts carry steel sheets across bridges, into stamping plants, into the hands of welders and painters. A single flow of raw ore enters one end, finished vehicles emerge from the other. The Germans walk in silence, boots clanging on the catwalks above the factory floor. Keller glances over the railing below him. Thousands of workers move like parts of a living organism. Forklifts dance around stacks of tires. Sparks fall like golden rain. The air smells of oil, heat, and ambition. In Berlin, Keller had spent months struggling to procure enough ball bearings for tank engines. Here, he watches crates of them roll by the hundreds, each stamped SKF Illinois. An American engineer, noticing his gaze, smiles politely. "Beautiful, isn't it? We call it flow production. Everything's built to fit the next step. No waiting, no pauses." Keller nods again, but the words cut deep. No waiting. He recalls the chaos of the Reich's factories, bombed railways, shortages, laborers dragged from occupied territories. Every Panther tank, every Messerschmitt fighter, a masterpiece of engineering, but handmade, fragile, limited. Here, in America, nothing was handmade. Everything was replicable. That evening, the German delegation dines with Ford engineers at a small restaurant outside the plant. The Americans talk about tooling efficiency, interchangeable parts, and production quotas. One mentions that Detroit builds more vehicles in a month than Germany can in a year. Keller lowers his fork. He has no appetite left. When he returns to his hotel, he writes only one line. "They have built the war to be endless, and we to be exhausted." Outside, the factory lights burn long past midnight. January 1944, Kassel, Germany. Snow drifts through the open roof of what was once a tank assembly hall. The Allied bombings have reduced the plant to twisted steel and shattered glass. Mechanics in heavy coats work by lantern light, their breath fogging in the cold. Dr. Keller stands beside a half-assembled Panther tank, its engine missing, its turret dented from a collapsed beam. The air smells of oil and burnt insulation. A young officer, Oberst Karl Voss, approaches, clipboard in hand. "Production for February, 9 tanks," he reports. "9?" Keller echoes. "And how many did we lose last month?" 37. Keller doesn't reply. He stares at the tank's exposed gears, its complex transmission system brilliant, but impossible to maintain in the field. A distant rumble shakes the floor. Another air raid. Somewhere east. He remembers the lines in Detroit, the flow, the order, the simplicity. Every worker trained for one motion, one screw, one weld. The Americans could lose factories and still rebuild faster than the Reich could repair one. Germany had built perfection. America had built abundance. He runs his hand over the cold steel of the Panther's hull. "We built for glory," he murmurs. "They built for forever." Outside, black smoke rises from the rail yards. Another convoy bombed, another shipment lost. The Reich is running on fumes, and Keller knows it. That night, he dreams of the endless American assembly lines, the pounding of presses echoing like the march of fate. March 1944, somewhere near the Rhine. Keller sits in a military train beside crates marked Panzerteil, Dringend, tank parts, urgent. He flips through his notes from the U.S. visit, pages now smudged and worn. Across from him, an SS officer reads a newspaper filled with propaganda. New German weapons to crush the Allies. Keller knows the truth. The war is already lost, not in the trenches or skies, but on the production floor. As the train rattles through the dark countryside, he looks out the window. The towns below are blacked out, silent, starving. In the distance, the horizon glows red from another factory burning. He whispers to himself, "They can build a B-24 faster than we can build a gearbox." A whistle shrieks. The train halts suddenly. Outside, soldiers shout, "Another air raid." Keller grabs his briefcase and ducks under the bench as explosions thunder in the distance. The train rocks violently. Glass shatters. When the noise subsides, he looks out again and sees the ruins of another rail line, twisted metal glowing in the moonlight. He clutches his notes, trembling. The truth that began in Detroit is now undeniable. Germany can never outbuild the United States. It wasn't the genius of American engineers that doomed them, it was the power of the American factory. June 1944, Washington, D.C. Across the Atlantic, while German factories smolder beneath Allied bombs, the pulse of American industry beats stronger than ever. In offices along Constitution Avenue, production reports stack like towers of victory. From his window in the War Production Board headquarters, Donald Nelson, former executive of Sears, now America's wartime supply czar, reads the latest figures aloud to a group of military officers. 864 ships launched this month. Over 50,000 planes delivered since January. One new tank every 20 minutes. A young colonel whistles softly. "That's more than the entire Wehrmacht can field." Nelson simply nods. "Gentlemen, this is what democracy can build when it stops arguing and starts assembling." In Detroit, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo, the night sky glows orange from blast furnaces that never sleep. Thousands of trains crisscross the continent, hauling steel, coal, and engines. The railways themselves hum like arteries feeding a living giant. In California, shipyards turn out Liberty ships faster than anyone once thought possible. At Kaiser's Richmond Yard, welders, many of them women, and immigrants cheer as a new hull slides into the Pacific. It took them only 4 days to build it. 4 days to create a vessel capable of crossing oceans and carrying the war to Hitler's doorstep. And still, the assembly lines roll on. At Boeing's plant 2 inches, Seattle B-17 seconds move nose to tail, a silver chain of power. In Willow Run, Ford's plant now finishes 1 bomber every 55 minutes. The secret is no longer design or innovation, it's replication. Everything has a place. Every worker, a rhythm. And every bomb, bullet, and tank rolling off those lines pushes the Third Reich closer to the inevitable. January 1945, East Prussia. Snow falls thick over a landscape of ruin. The roads are frozen, the trees stripped bare, and the air crackles with distant artillery. German convoys, battered trucks, and horse carts crawl west, engines sputtering in the cold. In one of those convoys rides Dr. Ernst Keller, now drafted into the Wehrmacht's engineering corps. His glasses are cracked, his uniform ill-fitted. The notebook he once filled with awe at American efficiency now serves as a grim record of disintegration. They pass through the ruins of Königsberg, where civilians huddle in cellars and soldiers strip wrecked tanks for parts. The once proud factories of East Prussia stand silent, roofs gone, walls caved in, tools buried beneath snow. A young lieutenant beside him mutters, "Berlin says we'll have new Tigers soon. Reinforcements from the west." Keller forces a thin smile. He knows better. He's seen the reports: factories destroyed, resources gone, laborers dead or starving. When they stop for fuel, Keller walks among the wrecks. A Panzer lies on its side, treads snapped. Its engine compartment is empty, scavenged. He runs a gloved hand over the armor. feeling the rough scars where once polished steel had gleamed. Then, in the faint glow of dawn, he remembers the endless lines of the Willow Run plant, the motion, the sound, the impossible scale of it all. He whispers under his breath, "They never had to stop." In the distance, the rumble of Soviet artillery grows louder. The ground trembles beneath his boots. The Reich, once proud of its genius, now collapses beneath the weight of its own limits. For all their precision, for all their ingenuity, the Germans had built a machine that could not outlast hunger, fire, or time. May 1945, Berlin. The city is a graveyard of stone and steel. Smoke coils from the Reichstag's shattered dome. Soviet banners hang where eagles once perched. Keller walks through the ruins of a factory once dedicated to producing engines for Messerschmitts. Inside, rusted presses sit idle, their gears half melted from bomb blasts. A tattered propaganda poster flaps on the wall, "Victory through industry." He steps over a pile of twisted metal, remembering the rhythmic hum of America's machines, the music of inevitability. Nearby, a Russian officer lights a cigarette and gestures to the wreckage. "You built fine machines," he says in broken German, "but you built too few." Keller nods slowly, and too late. He looks around. Silence, ashes, ruin. In the end, it wasn't the genius of a nation that determined victory. It was the system, the relentless, tireless, mechanical pulse of America's assembly lines that turned steel into destiny. As he walks toward the gray horizon, Keller slips his old notebook from his coat. The final page is blank. He writes a single line: "We were defeated not by men but by machines that never stopped moving." He closes the book, sets it on a broken workbench, and walks away. Outside, the wind whistles through the shattered windows like the echo of those faraway factory halls, a ghostly rhythm of power, production, and the promise of a world reborn from the ashes.